Yas Chatatrasan Drashtum Bharatapungavan. Just to see the chief of the descendants of King Bharata, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis amongst the demigods, brahmanas and kings, all situated in a quality of goodness, were assembled there. Purport. The rishis are those who have attained perfection by spiritual achievements. Such spiritual achievements can be earned by all, whether one is a king or a mendicant. Bhishmadeva himself was also one of the Brahma rishis and the chief of the descendants of King Bharata. All rishis are situated in the quality of goodness. All of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warrior's impending death. The situation is Bhishmadeva, who is a Mahajan, who is a great authority, despite the mistakes he made. Mahabharata teaches us what's right to do, what's wrong to do, and who did wrong and who did right, and what reactions they got from doing good and bad. Very complete. It's a very extensive instruction. So Bhishmadeva, at the end of the Kurukshetra war, he was still alive because he could leave his body at his will. That was one benediction he had received. But he was lying on a bed of arrows. So many arrows had been shot at him that when he fell down, he was not lying on the ground, he was lying on a bed of arrows. Completely unique, no? Have you ever seen another picture of another warrior who's lying on a bed of arrows? Whether it hurt or not hurt, I have not heard. But Bhishmadeva was a very elevated soul, and his position is, even at this moment, he is a teacher. He teaches us. And not only this, but many great souls assembled there. Because when they heard what happened to Bhishmadeva, everybody wanted to see him a last time. Actually, Bhishmadeva could have been the king, but he renounced the kingship and became a brahmachari. So it's very, very amazing history. Now Bhishmadeva is on his deathbed, and Krishna personally goes to see him, and all the Pandavas, everybody, and great rishis, great yogis. They come together. All of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warriors impeding death. So even though he was so-called death-bound, he was still able to give instructions. That's very interesting. We cannot imagine the importance. Well, we should. because death is something which is on its way to us. Each and every one of us will have to face this decisive moment. What will happen to us? Where will we go after we leave this body? That is in the hand of the Supreme. And this is the sum and substance, you could say, the sum and substance of the Vedic teachings is that we are in the hands of the Supreme. You are not in control. You're never in control. But it all depends on how you behave. Even though you're not in control, still you have a great part in everything. You have a responsibility. And that responsibility is that you should try to be a rishi. You should yourself try to dedicate yourself to the truth. Like, for example, I know something, then I have to apply it. If I don't apply it, then it will be against me. I wasn't a vegetarian, so one day in my life, I was just about to eat some meat. One person next to me, he said, "Do you know that the yogis of India, they would never even touch such dead meat? What to speak of eating it?" This one sentence, it struck me like a thunderbolt. It was like, I remember my mind told me, all the yogis of India, they can't be wrong. So if they are not wrong, then I'm wrong. So that very moment, I stopped eating meat, and I never returned, not even once. It was such a strong, and it was a one-sentence instruction. Similar, I got instructed, I was associated as a young hippie with the drug culture. Fortunately, in our place, it was very difficult to get drugs. It was, at that time, it was something like, people would always look for, where's drugs, but you couldn't get them. Anyway, one night, one gentleman, or one boy, he asked me if he could stay in our apartment. I had a little apartment in one city there, in Germany. It turned out that he was a junkie. He was a junkie. Junkie means somebody who depends on injecting drugs. So, and he was a junkie, and he had no drugs. So when he came to our apartment, he started going crazy. He says, "I need drugs, give me some drugs." I said, "We don't have any drugs here." Huh? So he went like so crazy. Finally, he found in his bag a Valium tablet. Valium is some chemical, some drug to cool down people. So he took the Valium tablet and he put it on a spoon with some water, and he put fire under the spoon, so the Valium tablet became dissolved in the water. Then he took a syringe and he injected that Valium in his body. And he was so crazy. I mean, he was so anxious. For me, it was great. I gave up drugs. I said, "No, I have nothing to do with this drug scene. This is crazy. This makes people absolutely out of control, out of benefit. So in other words, you get certain teachings in life if you're ready to take them. It's not only you get the rishis coming into your life. In both of these occasions, I felt that the rishis visited me. And they gave me life advice. Srila Prabhupada, he called it the regulative principles of freedom. Wow! Freedom! What a sacred word for the world. Every country we say, the freedom this, the freedom that. When we got rid of the Spaniards, that is a kind of the freedom. Then we got rid of the Americans. That's another type of freedom. Then we got rid of any type of freedom. Freedom is like, whew, what? Freedom means moksha, liberation. In India, the name moksha means freedom of the repeated birth and death. That's another story altogether. In India, when you're talking about freedom, it's not cheap freedom. Like, what is the worst place you can be sent? Jail. Then they take your freedom away. You cannot even go anywhere. This is a terrible place, jail. You know, in the United States of America, they have 2 million people in jail. And they're free workers for them. They use them as workers. More people than the slavery brought over from Africa. More they have today in jail. So slavery still goes on. Just has a different type of package. So freedom, if you're deprived of freedom, but what is really freedom? The regulative principles, they say, you're free from drugs, free from gambling, free from meat eating and fish and eggs, and you're free from illicit sex. Because any sexual relationship which doesn't have a purpose to make somebody happy, and that somebody could be the child which comes from that sexual relationship. So any sex which is not destined to make others happy is illicit. It's a power. Sex life is a power. Amazing. Each one of us are sitting here because of sex life. So we cannot ignore it. We can say, oh, what a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing. We are here because of it. Our father and mother, sacred, they conceived us, conception. So, but, for example, today it's so popular. People, they have sex in the night, and at the end of sex, they take a pill, which is called the pill after. So if the sex life produces a child, the pill will throw out the child from the womb. So imagine what kind of a drug that must be to be able to remove a child from the womb, just conceived. So Srila Prabhupada said, it's like inviting. Sex life means inviting somebody. Come, we want to be with you, come. So the child is there in the form of a sperm, in the body of the father. The child is there. Then he said, come. Then he comes, and when he's just about to be able to take his body, door is closed. No, sorry, no income, no, cannot come in. What horrible thing for somebody who's in a long journey. Imagine you're going from Mexico to India. All the way you get all the money, you get on the plane and everything. Then you're coming to India, and when you get down from the migration, they say, you can't come in. What? No, it's worse, because you can get on a flight and fly back. But you can't come in, and you can't go back. You die right here. We leave you starving to death here. That's what contraception means. That means the abortion, the pill after, and all that nonsense. It actually, you invite somebody, and then you let him die in your door. You don't even give him a plate of food to eat. Nice, huh? This is so, to be free from sex, from illicit sex, that is freedom. Of course, we have freedom of speech also. We have freedom of devotional service. What a beautiful thing that you can speak the truth, that you can speak freely. This is such a great, 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 great gift. But people don't know it. They cannot appreciate it. They don't give. Today in the world, the free speech is almost finished. If you're saying something against the injections, then they say, oh, you're creating ignorance. No, at the time of COVID, people were so divided that somebody said one thing and I said, oh, now you're killing us because you're not putting the mask. You're killing us. Things like that. The human beings are very easily manipulated. So they manipulated the people. Oh, this guy's my enemy because he doesn't want to wear a mask. Or this guy's my enemy because he doesn't want to take an injection. Later turned out that these injections killed so many people. So I didn't want to be killed. Oh, you're bad. You're putting us in danger. Just on basis of some publicity campaign. Just like an advertisement campaign. Just like they have everybody in the world, they're drinking Coca-Cola. What a horrible thing, you know. And everywhere, all around the world, you get this stupid Coca-Cola. No? Even in places like up on the last mountain, you know, you go and the Coca-Cola is already there. No, it's unbelievable. So, the same way they wanted us to take this injection, put injection anywhere, everywhere. So if somebody said this injection is poison, then he became an enemy. Really enemy. In the time of lockdown, somebody wanted to go and visit his old mother, who is in the old people home, and she's maybe about to die, and he was given a fine. No, they were so crazy, they were creating camps, like concentration camps, for those who are not vaccinated, for those who are not obeying the restrictions. Just on the basis of an invention. Because even though COVID was a flu, was some flu, like they say, but the fact is, it was nothing more than any flu any year, anywhere in the world. No more people died, nothing, it was just propaganda. A huge propaganda machine. So freedom means you're not under the control of a propaganda machine. In a way, I'm free, because I can say what I want to say. But I can't say it everywhere. Social media now very controlled. And if you say anything the system doesn't like to hear, they block your account, they do this. What did they do in Canada? In Canada, many people, they made a protest against the government, no? You must have heard about the truckers of Canada. So many people had a truck and they blocked the roads and said, no, we are not going along with this. So what did they do? They canceled their bank accounts. By the power of the government, they said, those people are part of this protest, cancel their bank account. All your savings is in your bank account. They cut you. So it's very, very, freedom is something very special. The freedom to pray, the freedom to speak, the freedom to act as you feel is right. So who is defending that freedom? The Vedic culture is defending that freedom. Hare Krishna. Christians and Muslims, they are not defending that freedom. Unfortunately not. They're supposed to defend it. A religious person is supposed to defend the freedom because religion, by obligation, Hare Krishna. How can it be? How can it be that somebody tells you, you have to pray, you have to do this, you have to do that? No. What a nonsense. So it is God Himself who is giving the freedom. And it is the human beings, the mundane people in this world, they want to take away your freedom. God even has given us the freedom to make mistakes. It's not nice to make mistakes, but it's worse if you are not allowed to make a mistake. Of course, certain mistakes are so bad that not only if you commit the mistake, then you will also be put in jail. And that's not a mistake. If somebody behaves in such a way that he gives trouble to others, then that freedom should not be given. And that's understood. That's why there are jails in the world. Because some people say, oh, you got this nice watch. Now you give it to me or I beat you up. Oh, beat me up, take my watch. Huh? So this mentality, this criminal mentality, has to be curbed. So we are free for everything good, but we are not free for giving trouble to others. That freedom should not be there. So our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, he gave us so much freedom. Krishna consciousness is the world of freedom. Bhagavad Gita is the world of freedom. Arjuna speaks the absolute truth. Krishna speaks the absolute truth to Arjuna. And final conclusion, now you do what you think is right. Now you decide what to do. So it's a religion of freedom, Krishna consciousness. That's why I'm here. Because I want to be free. I don't want to be in any mental prison or physical prison. No. Of course, this material world, we are never really free, because every day we are a day older. Every day we lose some of our memories. Every day we may get sick. So we cannot say, my decision is I will never get sick. That freedom you don't have. You don't have the freedom to go beyond the karma. That freedom you don't have, because karma is a universal law, and that universal law is entirely for your benefit. The universal law of karma is here to teach us that you are responsible. If you do something wrong, you will also have to learn the hard way that's not to be done. If you're a good listener to the rishis, then you accepted the principles of freedom, then you will not have to be chastised, and you will already reap the benefit of doing the right thing. That's why I say here the rishis, they're all in the mode of goodness. Those who can understand this wonderful possibility, absolutely wonderful possibility, to utilize your freedom to decide, I want to go home, back to God. Like you want to go to a mountain. You can. Then you have to climb up a mountain, Not easy to go up the Mount Everest. People try it all the time. I know one person in Burdwan, friend of Govinda Maharaj. He lost his toes because they were frozen when he went up to the Himalaya, to the Mount Everest. So, I want to be up on top. Okay, lose your toe. Freezing your toes. But people want to do it. Okay, it's their freedom. Can do it. So, there are restrictions. Certain people take certain risks. In one way or another, the whole life is a risk. Like the other day, I was walking in the street, and I don't know, I was just thinking something, and there was a little edge. There was like only this high, the street, and there was an edge coming out. And I hit my foot right on this edge. And before I knew it, I found myself lying in the street. Because, you come with a certain momentum, and then the edge comes, and cling, and you go forward and down. So, there are always things to be learned and circumstances which you cannot avoid. That's why we follow this principle of St. Francis. St. Francis said, change everything bad which you can change. Tolerate everything bad which you cannot change. And ask for mercy that you'll be able to understand what is the situation. Is it changeable or is it not changeable? We are depending on mercy. I didn't want to fall that day, but I fell. Why did I fell? Because there was a little edge and I hit that point. If I would have stepped 1 foot next to it, I would not have fallen. But I had to, my karma was I had to make dandavats in Vrindavan. So it was obliged dandavats. So everything in life is like that. Freedom is an amazing, amazing thing. But you have to handle it responsible. Don't think that freedom is now you are creating the laws. We are not dictators of any laws, no. And so freedom is there to train us to surrender. The greatest decision, the greatest exercise of freedom is when you give up your freedom. How's that? Well, that happens when you accept the spiritual master. Then you say, I'll do what you tell me. I won't do anymore what my mind tells me. That's a very big decision. But this is exactly what Krishna consciousness means when it says self-surrender, sharanagati. Give up your freedom for the sake of love. Example, father and mother. They give up their freedom for the sake of sex. No. Yes. No. Well, wasn't that sex something supposed to be a pleasurable event? Otherwise, why would they have sex if there would be no pleasure in it? But no, because she became pregnant, and now you are going to pay the bill for the next 20 years. That was it. Your freedom is finished. And you cannot say to the baby, sorry, I really didn't want to have a trouble of changing somebody's diapers and tolerating all his useful pranks, and sometimes the children, they create damage and the parents have to pay. Huh? Who did this? This boy. Who's the father? Come here, father. Your boy did this. Pay. I don't want to pay. You have to pay. You're the father. You're responsible. So freedom is gone when we give it up. In Spanish, we have a very nice saying. It's called spouse. In Spanish, it says esposas. La esposa. And another word for esposa is what? Handcuffs. The handcuffs, when the police catches criminal, they put handcuffs so he cannot move his hands. So in Spanish, you call esposa handcuffs. Means now, it's a little example. We can have another example. A nose ring. You know the big bull? They put a nose ring. And that guy is so powerful. But he has a string on his nose, and the little girl, she's pulling the string, and the big bull is going after the little girl, because it pains so much. If anybody pulls your nose ring, okay, I'm coming. Hold on, because it pains so much. So, in this way, certain circumstances in life, they do take away our freedom. But it is our choice. By our choice, we have a child. And if you say, okay, I have a child, or let's say, I have sex, there's a child, I don't want a child, I make an abortion. That's your freedom. But do you know the reaction for making an abortion? Do you know how much you have to pay for that? For sure, you have to go into this cycle of birth and death, and you will find closed doors. You will go to the journey of thousands of years to come into the body of a father, and when you're just about to be born, finished. Very serious is this all. Sharanagati is the most sane conclusion for your freedom. Surrender to the sweet will of God. Give up your nonsense freedom. The freedom to do nonsense, to harm yourself and to harm others. Give it up. But you can only give it up. That is a free decision. Only in freedom you can give it up, and then devotion may start. Devotion may start manifesting after you've given up your freedom of doing nonsense. Like we have devotion to the Guru, we have devotion to other deities, we have devotion to the nation, we have devotion to friends, ideals. Today there's some environmentalists. They fight against the illegal mining. They fight against the big contaminations. And then before you know, they're killed. Only in Colombia in the last year, 400 environmentalists were killed. In Brazil. Some people want to protect the Mother Earth. Are you ready? Are you ready for that? Sharanagati? Giving up your freedom? Oh, my freedom, my freedom. I don't want to give up my freedom for nothing. But I give up my freedom to speak nonsense because I read the Bhagavatam. And the Bhagavatam is the teaching of the truth. And that's what it says. Now, if I read something and I don't accept it, I cannot understand it, then I have to go to a rishi and ask, how can I understand this? This instruction is for me. It appears contradictory. Blind faith? What about blind faith? Does blind faith exist or not? Well, my suggestion today is that almost everything is blind faith. Prayer is blind faith. Oh my Lord, please let me be an instrument of your love. Nice prayer, good idea, but will it be answered? There is a certain element of uncertainty. Uncertainty. You don't know. Will it come? Will it not come? Will you think of moment of death of God or not? Will you have a Bhagavatam in front of you when you die? Who knows that? Everything we pray is we are delivering ourselves into the hands of the one who is listening to the prayer. Please, my Lord, please let me do this, please let me do that, please let me get a nice wife, please give me healthy children, please give me a good body for doing my service. All these are prayers, blind faith. Blind faith in a sense, you cannot be sure. Any question? Are you ready to defend your freedom? Are you ready to give up your freedom? Are you ready to accept correction? I did something wrong. Okay, you did something wrong. Do you accept it's wrong? Yes, I accept it's wrong. You promise you stop the mistake? Yes, I will stop the mistake. Okay, go ahead. Life is the learning from mistakes. If we don't make any mistakes, then maybe we can also not learn. Of course, some people are very intelligent. They learn just by hearing. They don't have to go through the painful situation of making the mistakes. Questions? Yes.
El poder parar una actitud inadecuada es solo cuestión de voluntad, ¿no?
Can you repeat that, Bhakti?
El poder parar con una situación inadecuada, es decir, sí, no lo vuelvo a hacer. Es únicamente cuestión de voluntad, no hay nada más.
Voluntad and also the mercy. We need to pray for the mercy to be able, because memory. Krishna is forgetfulness also. So if Krishna wants you to forget a good instruction, because you have not surrendered or whatever the reason, so Krishna, he can chastise you by making you forget what you said. So we are always depending on mercy. Even after surrender, we are still depending on mercy. It's not, oh, I've surrendered, now I am the chief of the situation. No. You're always a little weak, dependent. I just heard yesterday Prabhupada give this class. You cannot make the food, but you're eating. You are dependent. You are maintained. And you don't want to recognize the maintainer. That is your problem. You have all kinds of stupid philosophies about how the world came into action. Oh yes, maybe by an energy, maybe by a storm, maybe by amino acids, maybe by this, maybe by that. Maybe stupid. It came into existence by we have to become humble. Only in great humility can we conquer over the difficulties. As soon as we become arrogant, we think, oh, I know it all, I'm in control of the situation. No, you are not. You may be a famous guy, you may be rich, you are not in control of the situation. So you have to pray. And you have to pray and you have to learn and learn and learn. Bhishmadeva, he was teaching on the bed of arrows. And everybody said, he's Mahajan, he's great authority. So we have to accept that there's always a great authority. If you want to know the truth, then ask. And when you get the answer, then follow. That's your freedom. That's so simple. Why we are not applying it? You ask the question, shall we make war? The answer is no, we don't want war. We don't want many people to die. Then how do we avoid war? Well, have to listen to the parties involved. What they need or why they are not happy, what is the problem?
But even to talk is
great capacity that not everybody has to talk. Yes, we are all depending on mercy. The mercy to talk, the mercy to smell, the mercy to see, the mercy to hear, the mercy to think, clear thought. But one thing is a fact, there is law. You have to obey the law. Conscientiously or inconscientiously. Example, you cannot decide, I will stop breathing. I don't like this. I'm tired of it. I will stop breathing. You cannot. It's the law. You have to breathe. I want to stop eating. For a few days you can. Then at the end we could say the main thing is to accept everything as it's coming. So that's it for today. Today we are celebrating. We will make a little memory bench there for Vangsi. On that chair we can do that. Here next to the acharyas. Also we get a garland, some flowers. We have a memory feast for one of the great generals which walked amongst us. Question? Stretching. It is. I have a question. No. So it will be nice to remember him. Also he has helped here and there and everywhere. So you have to understand you are not independent, but you have freedom. That's the difference. You're not independent because you're under the laws of material nature. But you have the freedom to decide, I'll do it or I don't do it. It's beautiful. God has created it perfect. If you want to take my freedom away, I will not like it. But if you teach me the law, and I want to submit to the law, then you are my greatest friend. Let's say you smoke cigarettes. Any of you has smoked cigarettes in his life? Anybody of you has smoked cigarettes in his life? So, no cigarettes. You also? You? Also smoking. Did you smoke? Never. Always intelligent. You smoked? Huh? Por jugar? You? Smoked? So, okay, a person smokes. We know that it's an addiction. Nicotine is an addiction. Very, very stupid addiction, but it's an addiction. So, then somebody comes and says, you're smoking. Yes. Why? I don't know. Social smoking. People sit together. Hey, you want a cigarette? So then I say, it's not good for you. Okay, I accept it. You want to give it up? Oh, I would like to. How? So then somebody gives you a therapy. There's therapies to stop smoking. Like always keeping ginger in the mouth. Ginger. As soon as you have a craving for nicotine, you bite on your ginger. Ginger is good, it's heavy, no? So, you make the choice, no more smoking, chew your ginger until you don't want to smoke anymore. When I smell smoke now, somebody smoking, I go, ooh, immediately it disturbs me. Huh? One time I had a big fight in an airplane. Argentine Airlines. That's a long time ago. Nowadays you can't smoke in the airlines anymore. But in those days, so some guy was just smoking behind me, blowing all the thing. And I said, could you please not smoke? And he goes, So then I asked the stewardess, can you help me? The guy's smoking here. So then he got so angry, he screamed at me, you want to restrict my right of smoking? He made a big stink in the airplane. But I was disturbed by the smoke. So, if somebody helps me to give up smoking, he's my friend. Anybody who helps me to give up anything which is no good for me, he's my friend. But you have to want to give it up. You cannot help a person to give up drugs if the person doesn't want to give up drugs. No more questions? Thank you, Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Bhishmadeva. You are the authority. Even though he is lying on a bed of arrows, teaching us the last lesson is, even if you're a great personality, but if you make mistakes, you also will have to pay some results. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I hope this lecture has been of benefit for you. It's like a policeman, no? Nobody likes the policeman when the policeman gives you a restriction. But if somebody is coming and attacking you, immediately you call, police, police. So if the police is convenient to you, you like it. No? If the police is not according to what you like to do, like parking in the wrong place,